$2,000 stimulus check. That money that will go out the door immediately.
Hey everyone, welcome to this $2,000 stimulus package update and third stimulus package update for today. Today was another busy day in Washington for Joe Biden, who was busy sitting down signing off more executive orders. And if you turned on the news, you'll see what all the arguments were about. But really, there was only one or two of them that pertain to things that are actually in the stimulus package. Number one, mortgage forbearance was one of them. And number two, student loan forbearance was also included. But we did finally hear from members of Congress today in terms of what they think about the stimulus package and their plan to move forward with it, and when we're actually going to see these things signed into law and sent out. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome to the Late Night Grind, a new YouTube channel that I just started. It's really been growing recently. So if you are new to the channel, I would ask you to consider subscribing and joining this community. And don't forget, the best thing that you can do to help out this YouTube channel is actually by hitting the thumbs up button. So if you do that, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. So earlier today, we heard Nancy Pelosi speaking, and she basically said, as soon as the House of Representatives comes back into session, that the stimulus plan, the stimulus package, will be their first measure of business. Now, they've mentioned that a few times. However, this is really the first time that she's mentioned something like that without mentioning the impeachment process of Donald Trump, which they're trying to put through. But on top of that, we have another impeachment, as Republican senator introduced articles of impeachment already against Joe Biden for abuse of power. So I'm not going to cover all of those other than to say that these kinds of things, it may or may not take away from the time of negotiation that is needed for these stimulus plans, and I'm sure it does not make the American people happy. In fact, if you go to the community tab on my YouTube channel, you can see a whole bunch of different polls that I put there, and clearly you can see that there is a vast majority of Americans that are just looking for help, but yet politicians continue to be politicians. In fact, speaking of the impeachment, we also heard from Chuck Schumer, and here's what he had to say about it.
There will be a trial, and when that trial ends, senators will have to decide if they believe Donald John Trump incited the insurrection against the United States.
Speaking of stimulus packages, we're still hearing all kinds of arguments on whether the stimulus package will be a $1,400 one or whether it will be a $2,000 one. And not only that, we're still hearing complaints of people not getting their $600 stimulus checks. That was actually one of the things that Joe Biden did today with one of his executive orders, was to fast track getting the rest of the $600 checks or debit cards out. Now, I did hear today that a lot of things in the mail are still taking forever to get through. In fact, I still see every day on Facebook, people's Christmas gifts are now just showing up. One of the other executive orders that Joe Biden signed today was the additional SNAP benefits, which is basically the food stamp program. It was increased by an additional 15%, which is big for a lot of families because it's basically free money. Even if you get stimulus checks, you would use that money to buy food. Well, the SNAP benefits program, it's basically like free money. It's cash to go buy food for you and your family. So if you haven't applied for it, just go to your state's government website and apply for it. Look up SNAP benefits. They've expanded the program in terms of who is eligible. So especially if you have a family with multiple kids and you have a bigger household to feed, the eligibility has dramatically expanded in terms of who's eligible for the money. So please go do that. Depending on the size of your family, you actually might be receiving food stamps just as large as the stimulus checks that we've actually been talking about. Well, Nancy Pelosi said the beginning of February is when they're going to be going hot and heavy on getting this stimulus package passed, so we will see. Like I said, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing and give it a big thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next video.